What's up, people? Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone is doing well this evening. I hope everybody has got something really nice planned for the weekend. I've been sat in the garden for most of the day working on my laptop, so I'm feeling a little bit burnt, but I am feeling really positive. I'm feeling super happy, and we've got an absolutely massive show for you guys this evening. But before we do that, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's jump straight on into it. So let's start off with some positivity, as you know we like to do on this channel. Let's start off with Sofyan Amrabat. This is the one that everybody is wanting to know about. It's the hot topic of the moment, isn't it? Obviously, Liverpool have just had an absolute nightmare today, haven't they, with Moises Caicedo? And I think everybody in the chat is hoping that the same thing doesn't happen to us with Sofyan Amrabat. Well, there's a story that's come out from Gazzetta, which is obviously the Italian newspaper, this afternoon, saying that that Manchester United, after agreeing to sell Fred to Fenerbahce, will now finally make their €30 million bid to Sofyan Amrabat. Obviously, we know from Fabrizio Romano that personal terms are already agreed for Amrabat. He wants to come to Manchester United. He wants to play for us, and he is waiting for this deal. It looks like it will be £26 million, €30 million plus add-ons, a 5-year contract. And we're literally just waiting for this bid to go in. Everything else seems to be agreed. The player obviously wants to come. He's agreed the personal terms. He spoke to Ten Hag, and he is waiting for Manchester United to put that bid in. We are expecting Fred to do his medical either later today or tomorrow at Fenerbahce. So as soon as that happens, Manchester United will submit the bid for Sofyan Amrabat. I think we'll get the here we go by Monday, I reckon. I think Fred will be gone over the weekend. I think he'll do his medical on Saturday or Sunday at Fenerbahce. And then on Monday, I reckon we'll get the here we go for Sofyan Amrabat. Obviously, he won't be in part of the squad for the game against Wolves. That's impossible. But let's hope that he's at least signed by the time we face Tottenham a week tomorrow in London. So it's moving closer. I know this one feels like it's been dragging on for so long. I appreciate that, everybody. I know it's frustrating, but it's getting closer than close. And I think we're at the very final hurdle here. If we were still sat here and Fred was still a player that we hadn't sold and all the rest of it, I would start getting a bit worried. But we know that Fred's going to Besiktas, to Fenerbahce. So yeah, we're in a good position. I'm feeling really happy about that one. €30 million, £26 million plus add-ons. Quality bit of business. So really happy about that one. And smash a like on the video if you're happy about Sofyan Amrabat. Right, let's move on to some more outgoings really quickly. Keeping on the topic of Turkey, Besiktas have officially reached an agreement with Eric Bailly on personal terms. Talks are apparently ongoing between Manchester United and Besiktas to work out the best solution for the exit. Now, it doesn't look like we'll be getting any money for Eric Bailly, which I know is a bit disappointing. I know some of you in the chat would really hope that we would raise some money from the sale of Eric Bailly, but it looks like it will be a free transfer. He'll move to Turkey. Obviously, they'll cover all of his wages. We don't have to then be responsible for him anymore. He's on about £5 million a year. So when you think of it like that, I think it's the deal worth doing. I think we let him go. He goes off to Turkey, and we kind of just, he's done then. He didn't go on the pre-season tour. He's clearly not part of Eric Ten Hag's plans. And you know what? I wish Eric Bailly all the best. He is somebody who I did actually like at Manchester United. Obviously, he hasn't played for us for a very long time. But yeah, I think when he was playing for us, he gave 110% every single game. And I know that's the bare minimum you have to do as a Manchester United player, but in recent years, some of the people that have played for Manchester United literally don't even care about the club, do they? And you could tell that when Eric Bailly came on the pitch, he wanted to give his all. So I wish him all the best. Obviously, he's off to Besiktas. Yeah, we'll let you know if there is any developments on the transfer fee. But from what I'm reading at the moment from various different journalists, it looks like it will be a free transfer. But we will keep you updated on that one as and when we get more news. Okay, let's move on to something else, though. Let's talk about Scott McTominay. Now, there is a bit of an update about Scott McTominay, and I think it's one that you probably aren't going to like. I assume everybody in the chat today wants Scott McTominay to leave the club, right? There's a story coming out from Sky Sports this afternoon saying that Scott McTominay is set to stay at Manchester United this summer. This is coming out from Sky Sports about 5 hours ago in the UK. Now, do you know what I think about this? I think it's just a negotiation tactic. I think Manchester United have put this story out ultimately to give West Ham a bit of a nudge to say, we have no issue with keeping this player. We're not going to push him out the door. Either you cough up the money that we require, which is 45 million, or we're not selling him. So I'm not massively worried about this McTominay story at this moment in time. Obviously, when you read it out like that, it sounds really bad. It sounds like, oh no, Scott McTominay's staying. But I think if you actually break it down, it's all part of the negotiation process, isn't it? You always get these types of stories. Manchester United don't want to sell him anymore and all the rest of it. We know if West Ham offer the money that Manchester United want, 45 million, that Manchester United would sell him. So I'm not really worried about that one anymore. And for me, if Scott McTominay stays, it won't be the end of the world. I definitely do think he should leave the club, though, just to be very, very clear. I think he should leave the club. But if he is still here at the end of the transfer window, I'm not going to cry about it. Whereas Harry Maguire, he 100% needs to go, doesn't he? He has to go. Scott McTominay could still offer something to this squad, I think. I still would try and sell him in the next kind of 12 months. But anyway, let me know in the comment section what you think about this story coming out from Sky Sports. Do you think it's just a negotiation tactic, or do you think there is some truth in it and Scott McTominay will end up staying at Manchester United? Let me know, as I always look forward to seeing you guys' comments in the chat. Welcome to everybody who's just joined in the last few minutes. I hope everyone is doing good this evening. Please do smash a like on the video if you're new. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. We're about 30 subscribers away from 11k, which is absolutely mental. We only hit 10k yesterday, so honestly, the rate that the channel is growing is, it's absolutely unbelievable. So big ups to every single one of you who watches every single day, and big ups to all the mods, big ups to all the members and all the rest of it. So yeah, let's crack on with the rest of the show though, but just make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Right, let's talk about Harry Maguire really, really quickly. Now, this is a deal that looks set to go through. David Moyes, the West Ham manager, was speaking earlier on ahead of his first game of the season. The Premier League season starts obviously today, doesn't it? Buzzing for that. So David Moyes has been speaking about Harry Maguire, and he said, we've had a bid accepted from Manchester United, but while he's not our player, I'm not in a position to discuss him. So David Moyes has confirmed that a bid has been accepted. So obviously that's positive. I know we all probably thought that was the case, but it's always good when, a manager from the opposing team who's buying one of your players confirms that a bid has gone in. But there is a bit of an update on the Maguire situation. Now, Fabrizio Romano has come out this afternoon saying that apparently Manchester United want to start talks and pick their favourite candidate to replace Harry Maguire first before letting him go to West Ham. So it looks like what Manchester United would do is they will either sign Todibo or Pavard before they allow Harry Maguire to go to West Ham. Now, I think this is probably a tactic to keep the price down, because say we sell Harry Maguire and then every team knows we need a new centre-back. You go knocking on the door and they might just turn around and say, okay, we want 50 million for him now. They might say, oh, we want 50 million for Todibo. Whereas if we get this bit of business done first, I think it does simplify things. So yeah, Fabrizio has confirmed we will ultimately find our replacement first, whether that's Jean-Claire Todibo or Benjamin Pavard. We will discuss that in a minute. And then as soon as that happens, as soon as we've got some sort of loose deal in place with their clubs, we then will push the button on the Harry Maguire move. So yeah, I'm happy about that. I think it makes sense. And it is usually how it works with transfers, because you don't want to sell somebody before you have a replacement, because otherwise it just leaves you in a difficult situation. So yeah, I understand why Manchester United are doing that. And let's talk about Jean-Claire Todibo really, really quickly, because we have had a bit of an update on him today. So there's a story coming out from a French journalist saying there's a belief that a deal for Jean-Claire Todibo could happen in the next 2 weeks of the transfer window. Nice are expecting nothing less than around £35 million. So it looks like they've set their price for Jean-Claire Todibo, £35 million. I mean, when you think of it like this, we're getting 30 million plus add-ons for Maguire. You can get Jean-Claire Todibo for 35. That is an incredible bit of business. It really, really is. Like, worst case scenario, we're having to pay 5 million for Jean-Claire Todibo. Obviously, if you factor in the money we've got from Maguire. 23 years of age, obviously already in the French squad. Really, really good centre-back. Massive improvement on Harry Maguire. So for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. And let's hope that this deal gets over the line, because I think when you look at it like that, there isn't a single reason why we shouldn't be doing this deal. Not one. But yeah, let me know in the comment section if you do agree with me. Do you think that Jean-Claire Todibo is the right man for the job? Or do you think it should be Benjamin Pavard? As I said to you on videos before, I think we need both of them, but whether we will get both of them or not is yet to be seen. Now, the same journalist has also said the following about Jean-Claire Todibo. He says, numerous clubs have made approaches for Jean-Claire Todibo, but it was Erik ten Hag's speech to him on a call in early July and the appeal of joining a prestigious club like Manchester United that has captured his attention. So this is really, really positive. You know how much I like it when players want to come to Manchester United. Now, I know some of you at home might be thinking, I don't care, I just want to get good players. But I do think it's important for people to actually want to play for Manchester United. I really, really do, because we've made this mistake so many times. We bring in people like Alexis Sanchez, Di Maria. I'm sure there are many, many others, but we sign people who ultimately are mercenaries. They come in, they get paid ridiculous amounts of money, they don't do very well, and then they leave after a season or two. That's exactly what we want to avoid here. And I think all of the signings we've made this summer, Mason Mount wanted to come, Rasmus Højlund wanted to come, Onana wanted to come, Amrabat wants to come, and Jean-Claire Todibo, after this news story today, clearly wants to come. He's spoken to Erik ten Hag, and Erik ten Hag has convinced him, or not even had to convince him really, just he's spoken to him, told him about the project, told him about, where his place would be in the team, and Jean-Claire Todibo, wants to join this prestigious club, and it has captured his attention. Let's be honest about it, though. If you're going from Nice to Manchester United, you would say those type of things. It's not like you're going from Real Madrid to Manchester United, It's not like you're going from one prestigious club to another. You're going from Nice, who I don't know where they finished in the league last season, but let's be honest, Nice aren't a very good team, are they? Obviously, they're owned by our favourite Sir Jim Ratcliffe, but if you actually think of Nice as a club versus Manchester United, it is a massive, massive step up for the player. So, yeah, I would expect him to want to come to us. I really, really would. Yeah, let me know in the comments section, how much do you think would be a fair price for Jean-Claire Todibo? Are you happy about the potential price tag of £35 million, 23 years of age? I'm happy with that. I think that's a great bit of business. Anything more than that is maybe a little bit questionable, but for someone of that age profile, someone who could learn from Raphael Varane, he's also French, obviously a fellow countryman of himself, learns from Raphael Varane, 1 or 2 seasons down the line, he will probably take Raphael Varane's place. So I think this is a great deal to do, and let's hope that it goes Amrabat and then Jean-Claire Todibo in that order, because I think we definitely need both of them. But right, let's move on to the next story though. Let's keep things rolling on the show this evening. We've got over 800 of you in the chat today, which is absolutely massive. Big ups to every single one of you watching. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will read out some of your questions in a little bit as well. So yeah, do get your questions in. Right, let's keep things rolling though. Right, so we've got a bit of an update on Benjamin Pavard as well. Obviously, we have just spoken about Todibo, who I know seems to be the fan favourite amongst this community. Now, we've had a story coming out from a Bayern Munich journalist. So this guy only reports on Bayern Munich stories. He's a very, very good journalist, someone that, as I said, only talks about Bayern Munich. So he doesn't talk about other clubs. And this journalist has come out this afternoon saying that Manchester United are now serious about signing Benjamin Pavard. Okay, I think that's believable. I do. I think, as Fabrizio has said to us many, many times before, the 2 top targets are Todibo and Benjamin Pavard. I think it will all boil down to what the conditions are. If we can get Jean-Claire Todibo for 35 million, or, and then Bayern Munich say they want 35 for Benjamin Pavard, maybe Manchester United say, well, Jean-Claire Todibo's 4 years younger. He's got a higher ceiling. Let's go for him. It all depends on what the price will be. The figure that's getting quoted for Benjamin Pavard is £25 million. So about £10 million less than what we'd have to pay for Jean-Claire Todibo, being at 35. When you think of it though, he's 4 years older. That kind of makes sense. He's got 1 year left on his contract, whereas Jean-Claire Todibo has got 4 years left on his contract. So when you compare the two, 35 million for a 23-year-old with 4 years left on his contract, that's a really good deal. Whereas 25 million for a 27-year-old Benjamin Pavard with 1 year left on his deal, it doesn't maybe sound as appealing, does it? I think maybe we should be getting him for a little bit less if we did end up doing that deal. But I do want you guys to let me know in the comment section, what would you rather do? £35 million for Jean-Claire Todibo or 25 million for Benjamin Pavard? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know your reasons, and let me know who your pick is. I'm going with, I know I've been naughty and said this every time, but I think we need both of them. But if you put me on the spot and you said, Kieran, you can only have one, don't be greedy, who do you want? I probably would go with Jean-Claire Todibo now, I think, purely just because of his age, because of his profile, because of his ceiling, and because we need to replace Varane in a couple of years' time, definitely. So yeah, I'm going with Jean-Claire Todibo, £35 million, quality bit of business. Right, let's keep things moving on the show this evening though. So we have got a bit of an update on another potential outgoing. This is in relation to Noam Emmerson. So anybody who didn't watch the preseason tour are probably thinking, I have absolutely no idea who you're talking about. So Noam Emmerson is a right winger, French, plays obviously for Manchester United. He's come through the youth academy. Apparently he is going to move to Dutch side Groningen. I've probably said that wrong, on loan. So we wish him all the best. Really, really good loan move for him. Obviously had a really, really good preseason tour with Manchester United, and he's now got a move to the Eredivisie at Groningen. Again, I've probably said that name absolutely terrible. So if there's anybody Dutch in the chat, I do apologise for my my lack of pronunciation skills. But yeah, wish him all the best. I hope Noam Emmerson goes there and has a really, really good time. Right, let's keep things going though. Okay, so where are we? We've got a bit of an update on Anthony Martial as well for you. So obviously we spoke about Martial potentially leaving this morning. We've had some clarity on that situation. Now, the story that came out this morning said Anthony Martial has been offered to Fenerbahce if Under, again, I can't pronounce his name very well, if Under's move falls through, an attempt will be made to sign Anthony Martial. Now, Fenerbahce have, since we spoke this morning, gone and signed this Cengiz Under. Again, I've probably said his name terribly. So it doesn't look like Martial will be going to Fenerbahce, but, sorry, to Besiktas. So it doesn't look like he's going to be going there. But he has apparently been offered to Besiktas. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. I would say at the moment, I think we have to just hold on to Anthony Martial. I do definitely think he needs to leave the club. I think we can all agree on that. Anthony Martial is surplus to requirements. He's injury prone. He's on, I think, £300,000 a week. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I do think if we can move him on, we do need to do that deal. The thing you have to remember is, though, we will need to replace him with someone. Højlund is injured. So yeah, we definitely need to get that done. All right, we've got some breaking news for you, actually, guys. We've got some breaking news. You know I like it when the breaking news comes out whilst we're live. Now, it's not the most exciting breaking news, but I'm bringing it to you anyway. So this is coming out from... where's this coming from? This is coming out from a Scottish journalist saying that Manchester United have made an approach to sign Rangers goalkeeper Robbie McCrory this summer. Rangers have apparently put a £1 million price tag on his head. So, I mean, there's not really much to get excited about there, is there? We're signing a goalkeeper from Rangers who I've never heard of as a backup goalkeeper. I mean, I don't know what to think about that. If anybody's Scottish in the chat, let me know whether this guy's any good. I've never heard of him, but I don't watch Scottish football. Apparently, they value him at £1 million, and Manchester United have made an approach to sign him. Obviously, we're in a bit of a desperate situation in the goalkeeper department. Onana's obviously fit and will start the game against Wolves on Monday, but Maciej Kovar's gone to Bayern Leverkusen. Tom Heaton's injured, so we don't have a backup goalkeeper at the moment. I think there is a guy called Vitek who's also a youth academy goalkeeper, but we're in a really difficult situation. Obviously, Dean Henderson's injured as well, so he can't play. So it looks like we're going all out to get this goalkeeper from Rangers. Yeah, I don't really have any comment on it because I've never watched him play football. He's probably just a backup, isn't he, at the end of the day? So, yeah, if anybody in the chat knows anything about this goalkeeper, Robbie McCrory, please let us know in the chat because I've never heard of him. Now, I wanted to throw a little bit of a curveball into the chat today. I wanted to bring up Tchouaméni. We've seen countless stories in the last 24 hours linking us to Tchouaméni. They've all come from relatively dodgy sources, let's say. But I wanted to ask you this. Would you sign Tchouaméni at Manchester United if we could? He'd obviously cost somewhere around £80 million. He's going to cost you a hell of a lot of money. But say Scott McTominay goes, Maguire goes, Telles, by all of these people we believe to be leaving. Say all of them go. Would you go for Tchouaméni? Would he be the one that you think should come to Manchester United? I would say yes. If you get Tchouaméni and Amrabat, I would say that we have one of the best midfields, or if not the best midfield in the Premier League. Imagine a midfield of Casemiro, Amrabat, Tchouaméni, Mason Mount, Eriksen, and Bruno Fernandes. That would be absolutely unbelievable. So hopefully there is some truth in this story. We will be doing a video about Tchouaméni tomorrow and just piling together all of the stories we've got around him at the moment. So watch out for that. But yeah, it does look like there is more and more links to Manchester United and Tchouaméni. One to keep an eye on. But yeah, let me know in the comment section whether you think Tchouaméni would be a good fit at Manchester United. Just a really, really quick one, actually. Harry Kane has officially landed in Germany. I can see his flight tracker here. Harry Kane has landed in Munich. He will become a Bayern Munich player. That deal is done. He's not coming to Manchester United. We can all stop talking about it. Literally, I'm looking at the flight tracker website now, and he's just landed in Bayern Munich. So that's done. Harry Kane, goodbye. Yeah, maybe he comes to Manchester United in 4 years after, when he leaves Bayern Munich. Who knows? Anyway, okay, let's move on to the next story, though. Let's keep things rolling. Right, so we've got a pretty big update on the Mason Greenwood situation. Now, I know this one causes a lot of controversy in the chat. It causes a lot of mixed opinion. I know a lot of you have differing opinions, which is obviously completely fine. We did do a poll on the channel earlier in the community section, the community tab. And I think 80% plus of people wanted Greenwood to return, which is obviously, that's up to you. That's fine. Now, for all of you who want Mason Greenwood to return, there is a delay. This is coming out from the BBC, The Guardian. It's coming out from every different platform in the UK, right? And it says that apparently, where is it? I'll read out the whole thing to you because it's a pretty big story. So Manchester United have apparently delayed the announcement of Mason Greenwood so they can consult with the women's team before the announcement on the forward's future. So for anybody thinking, what are you talking about? Obviously, the Women's World Cup is going on at the moment in Australia and South Africa. Most of the Manchester United women's team are at that World Cup. So Manchester United have put out this story that they won't be announcing whether he'll return or not until after the World Cup finishes, because they want to speak to the women players of Manchester United to see what they think. So I'll read out the story for you. It says Manchester United will consult with their women's team before announcing a decision about Mason Greenwood's future at the club. An announcement was expected before Monday's Premier League opener against Wolves, but that has now been delayed. Yeah, so I'm not sure what to say there. It's the one thing I will say, okay, is I think it's a disgrace on Manchester United's behalf. This has been going on for 18 months. And they expect us to believe that they're waiting for the women to come back from the World Cup to speak to them. That doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all. And for me, I think they're putting the blame on the women's team so they can have longer to decide what they want to do. Because it's been 18 months. It's not like it happened yesterday and they're still unsure what to do. It was 18 months ago. That is more than enough time to speak to the women's team, decide whether they're happy with it and all the rest of it, get their opinions. Like, why does it, like, anyway, that's just my take on it. I think it's a really bad excuse for Manchester United, and I think they're just putting off they don't want to take the pressure. They don't want to, make that decision. They want to put it onto somebody else. They're saying that we need to speak to the women's team. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I know loads of you in the chat are going to be really, really frustrated. You're going to be really, really annoyed about it, which I understand, because those of you who want him back, obviously it is frustrating. I get that. But this is what's happened. This is where we are. Manchester United are waiting until the women come back, apparently, to speak to them. It just sounds like a load of rubbish to me. It sounds like a really bad excuse. But yeah, let me know what you think about that one. Let me know whether you think this is actually a genuine reason, or you think this is just an excuse by Manchester United to buy themselves more time. For me, it is 100% just an excuse to buy themselves more time. So just to give everybody a recap, Manchester United were expecting to make the announcement by Monday, ahead of the game, but this news story that's come out today has ultimately delayed that process. So it says that 3 of the players, so there's only 3 players apparently from this women's team, Manchester United women's team, who aren't in Manchester now. So there's only 3 of them. I mean, it is just stupid, isn't it? It's a stupid story. So yeah, it says Manchester United hope to make public the decision on whether Greenwood would return before the Premier League started, but that ambition has now been abandoned. It is understood the executives regard making the correct decision as more important than any other deadline. United are also going to consult the stakeholders, including major sponsors, the football department, and supporters. So apparently they're going to consult us, whose views will be gathered via the fans advisory board. So apparently they're going to ask the fan base whether they want Manchester United to let Mason Greenwood back. I mean, that's interesting. I just think that all of this just screams out to me that they don't want to make a decision themselves, so they're going to pin this on somebody else. How do they expect us to believe that it's taken them 18 months to ask the key sponsors whether they're happy with it? I'm sure they have conversations with their sponsors every week, every day. Like, they will have obviously been able to ask the sponsors by now whether they're happy with it. But I do think it's interesting that they're apparently going to ask the supporters for their views. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Yeah, I know this is going to frustrate some of you, because it did this morning. We obviously spoke about, there was a plan for him to come back and all the rest of it. But it is what it is. Anyway, let's move on to something else, because I just think it's a bit of a toxic topic to talk about, but obviously we are doing a news show, so I've brought you the news and you guys can kind of talk about it between themselves. But just to conclude that bit of the show, I just think it's an excuse for Manchester United. But that's just my opinion, obviously. Don't shoot the messenger. Right, I'm going to read out some of your questions as well, so get some questions into the chat if you have anything you want me to discuss. Somebody's saying, which announcement? That was about Mason Greenwood. Paul says that means they want to bring him back. Yeah, I mean, you're right there, Paul, I think. So Paul Greaves has said, that clearly means they want to bring him back. Why speak to the women if they were going to get rid of him? Exactly. So the only reason they would speak to the women is if they've decided they want to bring him back and they're saying, are you okay with this? Like, they've clearly made up their decision by this point, and all they're doing is checking with the other people about whether they're happy with their decision. That's all that's clearly happening, isn't it? Yeah, I just think at this point they need to send him out on loan. Like, that would solve everything, or put him in the under-21s. But obviously I know people in the chat are going to say, we don't want to do that, what are you talking about, all the rest of it. But I think that would be the best decision for everybody at this moment in time. All right, I'm going to read out a couple of your questions, actually. Let's jump into that. Joe says, Kieran, have you got any news about rumours of Manchester United are interested in signing 21-year-old Belgium defensive midfielder Onana from Everton? Thank you for the question. There is a bit of an update on Onana. I'm not sure about this guy. Like, if it's a conversation between him and Sofyan Amrabat, I go for Onana any day of the week. But let me know in the comments section, who would you rather sign, Onana from Everton or Amrabat? It's definitely Amrabat for me. There was a couple of stories in the last couple of days saying that Manchester United are reportedly interested in signing Onana, but how much would he cost? Like, Everton would probably want 50+ million for him. So the story goes as following. Manchester United have held discussions over Everton's Onana and Leeds United's Tyler Adams, but those talks have not progressed. So it looks like talks did happen, but they didn't get anywhere. And it looks like Manchester United have moved on to other targets. I wouldn't imagine we'll go for Onana and Amrabat. I think it'll be one or the other. And then maybe there'll be some sort of surprise signing, like someone like Tchouaméni. The thing you have to think with Tchouaméni, which we will talk about tomorrow on our video about him, is Real Madrid are going to need to raise funds in order to buy Kylian Mbappe. I think Kylian Mbappe will still go to Real Madrid this summer, and they would need to raise money in order to do that. Does that then mean that someone like Tchouaméni would leave the club? I think there is, a potential for that to happen. Big T says, Kieran, who won the competition, guessing how many subscribers this channel would have when the Premier League started? I'm not sure, my friend. I haven't had a chance to look yet. I think it was how many subscribers by the time Manchester United played their game against Wolves, wasn't it? So, yeah, I'll have a look back on the video. Can you remind me as well, Big T, what it was that I said they would win? Because I honestly cannot remember. I will go back and watch it, though, so don't tell me that I owe you a brand new Tesla or something, because obviously I know that isn't the case. Irvin says, Kieran, there is not even a small hint that we are in for a striker. I'm not going to lie to you, there isn't. The striker situation has gone so quiet. There is nothing to talk about. There isn't. Obviously, we were linked to Marcos Leonardo from Santos, young Brazilian 20-year-old striker, but it's gone quiet. Everything has gone quiet. And I think at this stage, unless Anthony Martial leaves, I think we're kind of stuck with what we've got up front. I think it's Martial, Rasmus Højlund, and Marcus Rashford will be the kind of three main strikers. And then I think Jadon Sancho will also play as a false nine. So if you look at it like that, we have 4 strikers. I know some of them aren't actual strikers, so it's not great, is it? But it is what it is. Stefan says, Kieran, didn't Mbappe say he wouldn't be going anywhere this summer? He did say that, but the thing with Mbappe is PSG are just going to completely freeze him out of the project. They're going to put him in the under-21s. He won't play any football for the first team and all the rest of it. I think in the end he will agree to move because, like, it's absolutely mental what he's doing, isn't it? It is absolutely crazy. They've paid him all of this money. They've given him this ridiculous salary, and then ultimately now he's just completely messed them over, hasn't he? So yeah, I'm glad we're not going anywhere near this player. Brad says, why do we need to be in for a striker? Højlund will score 50 goals this season. Wow. I like that. Now that is the positivity that we like. How many goals do we think Rasmus Højlund will score? Let me know in the chat. Brad has said we'll score 50, which I think is maybe a little bit ambitious, but obviously you're entitled to your opinion. Mob says, we're going into the Wolves game without a striker. You couldn't make it up. I get where you're coming from, but obviously Marcus Rashford will play as the striker. I know some of you don't like... I know some of you don't like Marcus Rashford as a striker, but that's kind of where we are at the moment. Right, where are we? Let's read a couple more. James says, do you think Rashford can play right wing when Rasmus comes in? Because I think Garnacho is a must at left wing. Now, I absolutely love that comment because I think the front three for this season needs to be Garnacho, Højlund, and Marcus Rashford. Those three need to play every single game for me, or at least start every single game. So yeah, I think Marcus Rashford would end up playing on the right. He has done that before. Marcus Rashford on the right, Højlund down the middle, and Garnacho on the left. I think that would be really, really solid, and I'm here for it. I think that would be a really, really good bit of move. Yeah, I think that would be really, really good. Right, we've got about 10 minutes left of the show, so keep getting your questions in, and I will read out a couple more before we end the video. Please do smash a like on the video, and please do subscribe if you haven't already. We're 50 subscribers now away from 11k, so let's see if we can hit that by the end of today's stream. Yeah, so do get involved. I just want to take a minute, actually, just to say, like, who is excited about the Premier League starting? We're starting getting the team news out. Apparently, De Bruyne starting for Manchester City. Like, I'm absolutely buzzing. I really, really am. And thank you to everybody in the chat who's been really supportive of the channel. Thank you to every single one of you who watches all of the videos. I really, really do appreciate it. So yeah, big ups to everybody. Brad says Garnacho, Højlund, Rashford cutting in from the right. 100% agree. Yeah, 100%. That's what needs to happen next year. Somebody says, Kieran, you have to ban some people from the chat. So much rude talk. Let me know what the names are and I'll ban them. I can't keep my eye on the chat and on speaking to you at the same time. So let me know and I will. Stefan says, Kieran, would you fancy Neymar? I don't know. Like, obviously it sounds great, doesn't it? But I don't think so. I don't think we should go for Neymar personally. I mean, how much money is he on per week? Let me have a look. Neymar is on £40 million per year. £3.4 million a month. What's that a week? He's on about 700, 800 grand a week. Like, I don't think signing Neymar is a great idea. I really don't. But obviously, if you do, that's completely up to you. Irvin says, why do we expect Højlund to score 20 plus goals when he is a development striker? I think he's going to get 15 in the Premier League. That's my prediction. But yeah. Somebody says Kane to Munich is good for England or Germany for next Euros. I'm not sure what you mean there. Yeah, lots of people are saying definitely don't bring Neymar. Yeah, I don't think Neymar's a good option. I really don't. Right, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys, because it feels like a really good place to end it. We've gone through all of the news, and I am conscious. Yeah, I am conscious of, you know, trying not to repeat stuff and just keeping it nice and simple. So I'm going to rattle through everything. I'm going to summarize what we've spoken about on the video today. Yeah, right. So this is everything we've talked about for anybody joining late. Manchester United looks set to put in a 30 million euros bid for Sofyan Amrabat. This is what's being reported by Gazzetta in Italy. Eric Bailly has agreed personal terms with Besiktas. Manchester United are currently working out a best exit solution. It looks like it'll be a free transfer for that one. In relation to Greenwood, the decision has been delayed. We won't find out before the season starts whether he'll be coming back. And Manchester United are reportedly waiting for the women's team to come back from the World Cup, and then they will make their decision. In relation to Harry Maguire, it looks like Manchester United are waiting until they sign or at least start talks with a replacement before they agree to this sale. So as soon as we get the Todibo or the Pavard deal agreed, Harry Maguire will leave the club. Martial, there is interest from Turkey, but at this point I would probably say he's staying. Sky Sports are reporting that Scott McTominay is set to stay at Manchester United, but in my opinion, I think this is just a negotiation tactic. If West Ham cough up the money, I think he will go. The young youth player Noam Emeren is set to move to Groningen in the Eredivisie on loan, which is really good. Happy for him. Bayern Munich sources are reporting that Manchester United are now serious about signing Benjamin Pavard. Okay. And apparently Nice have set a £35 million price tag for Jean-Claire Todibo. So that's everything that's to talk about today. Obviously, we will be back at 8 a.m. UK time tomorrow. If anything breaks between then and now, if we get any updates on Amrabat or anything else, we will, of course, go live. So do make sure you smash a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. This has been Kieran. I've been Well, no, I've got that bit wrong. This has been Daily Red Devil. I've been Kieran, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Lots of love and peace out.